This is Matt for Into Boxing. Delighted to be joined by world champion Ebanie Bridges. Ebanie, it's the first, I think, proper interview we've done since you've become world champion. How does that sound?
It sounds good. It sounds good to have that next to my name for sure. And we're back in the OG, back in Australia on the Zoom.
Yeah. How's it feel being back home anyway? I know you've been missing home, been wanting to go back home. Have you enjoyed being at home, showing your belt off to family and friends, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Everyone just wants to see my belt. And I'm not saying that I'm over it, but I'm like having to lug it around everywhere, because everyone wants to see the belt. It is really cool. And I am proud to show my family and my friends, but like literally everyone. Like I was getting tattooed the other day. My tattooist was like, you have to bring in the belt and all this kind of stuff. But it's just like, yeah, everyone wants to see it. So it's pretty cool to have it here, to be honest.
Yeah, they say a champion, you never leave your belt at home, take it everywhere.
I know. Well, it's funny because it's not that I really want to take it around everywhere, but there's just people that want to see it as well. And I remember I was at the first fight after my world title fight at Matchroom, and everyone's like, "Where's your belt?" I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Well, what do you mean? You're supposed to bring it." And people just bring their belt everywhere. I'm like, "Oh, do they?" And I was like, "Okay," because it's not really my night. I'm a fight night, and so I didn't really want to do that. But I mean, I get it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to have a whole row of them like Kenny Taylor and hanging them all up in my arms.
Well, we'll get to them unification fights and stuff that you want to do. Yeah. You mentioned you went to the tattoo parlor. Have you got some new ink? You got some eyes or something there?
Yeah, I did. Oh, I've got the whole sleeves done now. I mean, we won't take my shirt off because I'm not wearing anything underneath. But I mean, I've got all my forearm done. I got like a samurai on my arm. Can't see her. And then I got tiger eyes here, and so my arm's done now. And I don't know if you have tattoos or anyone that does have tattoos. It's kind of like, oh, is that it? And then you're like, now what? It's so bad, but I've got to stay disciplined because I don't want to turn into one of those fully tattooed people.
You mentioned getting your hand done. Are you getting that done or not?
No, I got Bruce on there, little Bruce.
On the
got him fixed up. Yeah, because I'm like, hey, you want to see my pussy? And then I do this. Sorry, guys. Had to throw that in there. No.
Less than 2 minutes in.
Like if I hold it down here, like I might hold it down here and then I'm like, all right, no, stop being silly. Let's stop being silly. Sorry. I'm a bit rowdy. It's been a while. All right. So anyways, no, I haven't got my hand done and I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to get my hand done.
No worries. Wanted to come on to, there's a fight that's happening this weekend. The girl you beat for the world title, Cecilia Roman, she's back in the ring already against Ellie Scotney. Interesting. Ellie had a tough fight out last time out, and now she's going against the world champion. For someone who's been in the ring with Cecilia Roman, talk to me how you think this fight will go, sort of stylistically, and give us your sort of breakdown of it. Yeah,
you know what? Like, I mean, hats off to Ellie going for that fight. To be fair, and no disrespect, I don't know how any other way to say this, but I do think that Ellie's overrated. Like, I think they really are pushing her a bit too much. Like, I think her last fight, she was like she really skimmed that fight, and the fights that they're choosing, like Roman, and her last fight, it's all like styles that are so bad for her style, because she's not that strong, like she's not that skilled on the inside. Do you know what I mean? She's still very amateurish, and she doesn't have that pro inside kind of style of boxing. When she's inside, she kind of hugs and holds and pushes around. It's like she's lost. She doesn't know really what to do. And Roman is so tricky on the inside, like she is. I know that with my fight, like the first couple of rounds, we don't know what she was doing. I honestly think it was because when you're getting punched that much, the amount of punches that I was letting off, it is hard to let your hands go. So I don't know if she was waiting or if she just found it hard because I was throwing so many punches. But she can set traps on the inside, so it depends. But she can box both ways, Roman. Like, she can box on the back foot as well. Ellie's very good when she can control the fight. When she can control it and she can box. But as soon as these girls come in and start putting the pressure on her, smothering her, she seems to really struggle. So I think if Roman does a similar thing to what she did with me, I think Ellie's going to struggle because Roman's quite strong on the inside, like physically strong. You can't just push her around, like she was pushing, Gwenanini's a flyweight, you know what I mean, coming up. And then, even Gangos a tiny bantamweight. Oh, Roman's small as well, like they all kind of are around that weight, they're not really small. And Ellie's like a big super bantam. Like, we know Ellie, like she cuts a lot of weight and she's quite big. She comes into the ring quite big after. So, I mean, I feel like if these girls are kind of shoving her around, I think she will struggle a little bit with Roman. I mean, I could be wrong. She could have improved and learned from her last fight, but she seems to, the same kind of fights, she's having the same girls that are just these pressure fights that come in and put pressure on them. It's the same kind of thing where she just gets really, it just looks really messy. You know what I mean? And it's hard. She seems like she struggles a bit with it. She always scrapes in and she gets it. Don't get me wrong, because she does have skill and she is precise. But Roman is very experienced, and she'll set traps on the inside, and I'm very good at the inside. My inside game is my bread and butter. So that's why that fight was perfect for me. Do you know what I mean? But Ellie's not. She doesn't seem to have that IQ for the inside. She's great on the back foot. She's great when she can box. But if she gets into that close quarters, I do think it's going to be a bit of a struggle for her. But Roman's not strong. She's not actually a strong puncher. So I think it won't be anything where Ellie's going to get worried about the power there, So I think that's going to obviously be on her side. And I think, I think just the size. I think that Ellie, if she manages to win, I think it will be because she's so much bigger, because I feel like they might underestimate Roman a little bit, but I think it's going to be a good fight if it doesn't get too messy and there's not too much hugging and holding on the inside. I know Roman won't hug and hold; she doesn't, but I just see it could get a little bit messy like that, especially if Roman does that pressure style fighting that we've seen her with Melissa Parker, but yeah.
Do you think, because when obviously your fight with Roman, it looked like she was taking ages to get going. Do you think that was just purely down to because you will sit in the pocket a little bit with her, and obviously if you're throwing, it's hard to sort of match fire with fire all the time, whereas do you think Roman has to start quicker against Ellie to sort of get going? Because if not, like I said, before you know it, the rounds are sort of drifting by. Definitely.
But Ellie doesn't throw as many punches as me. She's not as high a work rate. You know what I mean? She's not that same kind of, she's not the same. Ellie's a complete opposite style to me. She's got that more of an amateur style, and or she'll like kind of just throw pop shot stuff. I think that Roman. I think Roman will learn from my fight. Mm-hmm. I think she'll learn. She'll know. Okay, look, she has to start off faster. She'll either come out a similar thing, like I said, if she feels threatened by Ellie's power or like strength because she's bigger. I think Roman will do the same thing, try and smother her power by getting in close. But if she's not threatened by it, then she'll do what she does to girls that she's not threatened, and that will she'll probably box on the back foot a little bit, try and draw Ellie in, use her jab and keep a bit of distance. I think, and she's good like that as well. But I find that obviously I've studied a lot of Roman as well, but when Roman is backwards, I find that she's a bit easier to be pressured rather than when she just sits and plants and just sticks her feet in. She's a bit harder to push around. So yeah, I definitely think, but I think she's going to come out and let her hands go because she would have learned, and if she doesn't, then that's her problem. That's her, that sucks. Yeah, she needs to learn, I'm not sure. For Ellie, she needs to have improved on the inside as well, because her inside game, it's almost non-existent. It's just like hugging and pushing. You can't do that in the pros. Like, she lost a point in her last fight because she's doing it. Do you know what I mean? And with someone like Roman, like, you can't do that because she'll set the traps, or it will just become a very similar kind of mess to the last fight. So I think Ellie, what she needs to do is stay disciplined. She needs to not get drawn into that fight. She needs to keep her distance and box like what she can do. Because when she boxes on the back foot and she keeps at her range, she's great. You know what I mean? She's really skilled, but it seems that with her last few opponents, she's really struggled to do that. So we'll see. Good fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. It'll be interesting to see. But again, yeah.
No, you've just brought that fight down quite well there. Now I know you're doing, you're dabbling in a lot of the commentary game, and I know
yeah.
side of it. How are you enjoying that side of boxing now? I know a few of you doing. Obviously, Natasha Jonas, I spoke to her last night. She's said how much she enjoys it, and she can give her honest opinion about boxing, and she doesn't mind doing it. How are you enjoying that side of it? And is that something you look at as, obviously, not everyone's career lasts forever? When you maybe step away, would you want to continue doing things like that and commentating not just on the female fights but on the male fights as well?
Oh, definitely. I mean, 100%. I love it. As you can see, I can ramble on about boxing and break it down, and I get a lot of good feedback about my commentary because I do break down the fights and I talk about the tactics, and I break it down for people, and I think that's what people want too. People watching boxing, some of them aren't all boxers, they don't know everything, so they want to learn as well while they're watching, I think. But yeah, definitely something that I want to get into. I know that, and as you said with the women, I mean, I actually said to Matchroom, because they wanted me just to do Alicia's fight, and I said, look, can we commentate the men as well? Like, I can actually talk, but I know my boxing. Don't get me wrong, there's some people out there, they get people in who are just there for like a spot, you know what I mean? Just because they might know that boxer or whatever. And so they don't not know about all the fighters, but you know me, I'm a boxing fan and I follow it pretty religiously, and I know it and I can analyze it. So it doesn't matter who it is. I know about him. I'm going to do my work, and I'm going to be able to break down the fight. Mm-hmm. I'm very confident in it. And I felt like that. I felt like I fit right in. We try and not talk too much. Obviously it's a little bit hard when there's three of us. I actually got a commentary role here as well while I was in Australia on the No Limit. Yeah, the Gallon card here. Yeah. And that was great. Yeah, that was great. So it was good as well, which I was commentating all the boys' fights as well. So, I mean, I love boxing, not just women's boxing, and I want to talk about it all. And I could, I'm definitely interested to do more of that. And I'm sure I will get more of it because I think I did well. There was a lot of good feedback. So, and I'm only going to get better. I just need practice. Like anything, I can't be straight in perfect, but I think I started with a good start, and I know my basics and I know my boxing, and I'm quite confident in talking. So it's just a bit more practice, and hopefully, maybe added on to me becoming, the undisputed bantamweight world champion to my legacy, I can be one of the best female commentators in the future. That would be a really cool goal for me.
I know you're all about setting goals, and like you said, you mentioned bringing the belt round, and you're like, really? Because I think in your head, you're sort of almost like, what's next? What we're doing next, kind of thing. So
yeah.
So we mentioned before about unifying and being undisputed. What's the next step for you? Are you gonna have a voluntary? Because I know you mentioned your hands required. Does it require surgery, or how's that going? Where are we at with that?
Yes. Yeah. So my hand, man, bloody Gangloff rock hard head. Like, it's just giving me so much grief. Like, but look, I've got a really good surgeon in the UK, Mike Hayton. He's in Manchester, and he's literally done all the boys' hands. He's done over like 100 boxers' hands, like Conor Ben, Kurt Cordina, there's all of them. Billy Joe Saunders, like all of them. And he's looking after me, and he's made this like brace thing that I wear when I'm boxing. And what it does is it just locks my hand in and gives me that support, so I can get through my camps, because it's kind of like, as long as I can get me through my camp, that's how I think. As long as I can get through my camp without the pain, because I can't keep getting cortisone shots, then fight night, it's fine, like whatever. I could have a surgery, but the problem with the surgery is it's 6 months, and at 4 to 6 months recovery. And I honestly, I just, it's not like I don't have that time. I don't want to take that time off, so I'm hoping that this contraption that he's made gets me through, and I'm able to do it, but I mean, obviously, if it does come to a point where I'm not even able to get through my camps, then I'm going to have the surgery. But so far it's seeming okay. I'm able to manage it. And that's the main thing, that I'm managing it. But it's definitely something that I think is going to bother me for the rest of my career until I fix it. And the only time I want to fix it is when I've finished, and then it doesn't matter because I'm not punching things anyway. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. I wish I was a little bit younger, so I felt like I could have the time to take off. And I'm sure I could, but it's not the choice that I want to make right now. I just want to kind of push through it. And as for my next fights, we're looking at summer, obviously. I'm actually coming back to the UK in 2 weeks, and I'm moving indefinitely. So I will be I am there for good. I won't be doing these trips back and forth to Australia, which really take it out of me. You know, coming back to Australia, it just ruins my momentum of everything, including my training. Like I love seeing my family, but I'm so goal driven and I make the sacrifices and I sacrifice and I need to sacrifice here so I can continue on being my best. And I would love to just be still in the gym training and like learning off tips, see my family high like for a week and then get back, you know what I mean? Like it's that's just how I am. And, when my boxing's over, I have plenty of time for everyone. But right now it's my goals and just improving. And so I'm really looking forward to that move and coming back and, just getting that momentum, keeping the ball rolling the whole way through, at least stopping and starting, flying back and forth and all that kind of stuff.
So what do you think? Are you going to have a voluntary next, or are you chomping at the bit to Eddie to say, look, let's keep this going, get me someone with the belt?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
The first thing I said to Eddie is obviously I want to unify, but he thinks I should take the voluntary defense and build up, as and do that. Even my manager said that, obviously all the champions, we just want to unify because that's what we want to do. But I think when I look at it in hindsight, I'm looking at, my contract and if I'm put it simply, for me to unify, I'd be wanting a little bit more money. So, let's get this fight out of the way. I signed a six fight contract with Eddie after the Shannon Courtney fight, and that's coming up soon. So,
how many you got 2 left?
Yeah. So I want to try and pump out the next 2 fights this year. That'll be good. And then probably, maybe have a unification at the end of the year, but I would love to focus 2023. Is that the year next year? 2023 on unifying. And I project and I'm manifesting it that I'm going to be undisputed by 2024. As long as everything goes to plan with my injuries. And you know me, when I say something, it happens. So it's going to happen.
Wow.
But that's my plans. And and it's bold, but hey, I've always made big goals and I've always achieved them. So I believe it and I know I can do it. It's just taking the right steps. And, I still got a lot of learning to do. So, voluntary defense won't hurt me. To get more ring time. All these girls, the champions, they're tough fights, and I want to have my best chance of winning. And, that's what I think I can do.
I think as well, you mentioned there ring time, and it's more in ring time with Tibbs in your corner as well. Probably
exactly.
Like you've had that fight, but obviously you can't show everything. So it might give you a chance to maybe show more of what you've learned with him in that fight and learn about each other, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's all part of it, it's every step of the journey is for a reason, it's all for a reason. I had 8 weeks with Mark, and look at the improvements that I made. One more camp, I'm going to be even better. And then, I'm going to be more than ready to unify and become undisputed. I'm happy to pull the trigger and jump the gun and throw myself in the deep end. I am happy to do that, but also I'm happy to keep practicing and learning before I do that. So we'll see. Not going anywhere though, and those belts will be mine 2024. You heard it here.
Yeah, it's one hell of a goal to set from just becoming world champion to now undisputed. But let's see what happens. I suppose it's there for you to do, isn't it? Like the belts will be there.
Well,
you'll set it up.
It's like it's funny because before I became world champion, that was my goal. I just wanted to be a world champion. Obviously, I'm not going to look past becoming a world champion because a world champion is like the first step. But then it was like, okay, cool, done that now. Next, right? And then I just know that with unifying, it's going to be the same. I get one belt. Okay, got that one now. All right, I want the other one, and I want the other one. So that's why I'm saying I want to be undisputed, because I know that being unified isn't enough, and it's not going to be. I'm not going to be satisfied. So I'm going to really focus all my energy and manifest that, and truly believe it, and put everything in it to becoming undisputed. And I truly believe I can. I've looked at the girls, and they're beatable. Everyone's beatable, but I just know that I've got a really good team now. I've got really good energy around me, and I'm, relocating to the UK is huge. This is the first fight that I had where I hadn't moved around fucking the world, or had some randoms coaching me, and do you know what I mean? Like no broken hands or injuries. It was really like the first one, to be honest, since my first few fights in Australia. and look how good I performed and look how good I felt. You know, so now relocating to the UK without all this travel, I mean, unless I fight in the US, but that's just over the pond. It's not that bad, you know, but I know I have my team.
Yeah.
Like Gengloff, I was stuck in the UK. Like I couldn't even train with my trainers because they got back to the US and I couldn't even go back to the America. So I was like, fuck, who can train me? Oh, Enzo, like help me out, mate. But like that's a new trainer for like 3 weeks. And then they came over to be in my corner, like, and then I broke my hand in the second round. Like it was just like, you know, and they couldn't, you know, everything. It's just like I just know that I am so much better than what I've shown, in previous fights. Obviously the Roman fight was good because that just shows give me the right camp, get me settled with one trainer, one voice in, you know, working with me in the corner, you know, because usually even in Australia when I fought in America and stuff with the Americans, I trained with my Australian coach for like 6 weeks and then go to America for the last 4 weeks with them. Like, so I was just chopping and changing all the time. So I just feel I'm just so confident and so positive just with this move and everything that's coming forward for me with this year and next year that really anything's possible and what I believe I'm going to achieve.
Yeah, and when you see the obviously you came into boxing late, but when you see the sort of the state of women's boxing and how that game's grown now, it's sort of all there for you. I mean, we had Madison Square Garden filled for Taylor to Serrano. It was unbelievable, not just for women's boxing,
incredible
boxing itself. I mean, when you see stuff like that, and you see obviously Katie Taylor with all the belts, that must get you pumped to say, you know what, I want that moment now, kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Like that's incredible, man. Like I still think about that and it was just so amazing. Like, it's really emotional. I know a lot of us women were really emotional. And I think even for like the old school boxers, you know, like you're talking about pros that have been around for like 10, 15 years because they didn't have that. They don't even have what we got now. So for them to see that, like they've seen the progression. Like for me, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't a big women's boxing fan, like myself. You know, yeah. I've been a boxing fan since I was a kid, but I didn't watch much women. Like I liked Cecilia Roman and, you know, and Wolf, but like really there wasn't many like that I liked. Like, so I watched men's boxing and like, even when I first turned pro in 2019, I was still like, you know, like it's still, for me personally, it still wasn't that entertaining. So it's only now that the girls are coming out and we're getting the good shows to be put on, they're being matched evenly, because when you got such lopsided fights and stuff, like it's not entertaining. But now everyone, the pedigree is so much higher and everyone, you know, got all the amateurs coming through, which obviously have that good skill base and stuff. Like it is exciting to watch and we're all getting characters. And I believe, like, you know, when I came and said, I believe I'm, you know, a lot to do with that excitement as well, you know, bringing different characters and different entertainment and, you know, to boxing. You know, we can all be different and we can all be characters, and I see it a lot more now. And you know, I feel like it's good that boxing's getting like that and people are embracing who they are, and just the women that is coming out not being so shy and being more active on social media to build those fights and build those rivalries, you know, because that's what we need. Like it's finally like they're getting it, like, and we're getting a platform, you know, thanks to Eddie Hearn. And he's honestly the best. Like, say what you want about him, but he really did back women's boxing before everyone else. And even Americans, some of them are starting to back it, but it's not the same. You know, it's not. And you just know because why? Because all the American boxers are coming to the UK because they all want to fight over here. Kayla, Clarissa, they all know because they come over here and it's so much better. You know?
Yeah. I think
so. Yeah. Anyways, I went on a fucking rant then, but. Yeah, like it's all motivating and I'm loving being part of this, and I'm so blessed that I'm part of this era of women's boxing, and I know it's only going to get better, but I'm not taking anything away from the OGs, you know, like you Jane Couchers and all those guys, but because they did go through fucking shit and they you know, they had to do what they had to do. But you know, obviously Katie Taylor and Eddie Hearn were the duo that really kicked it off. So you know, the credit's there.
Yeah, I think when you look as well, like you mentioned there, I think what someone said to me, women's boxing will get it when the talent pool gets bigger as well. And when you look at all the amateurs coming through, I mean,
exactly.
2 girls that just signed on Sky, Kerry Artingstall and Lauren Price, and then you look at Caroline Dubois, we've got Sky Nicholson. Like when you look at all these fighters, like, and there's loads more. I think it's in a really good. You mentioned the social media and the interaction. We've got Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall, which is an unbelievable fight. And then, obviously, I think I spoke to Natasha about this. Like, they have a bit of back and forth on Twitter, and we see this in the men's game for so many years, and it's refreshing to see it now in the women's game.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's what we want to do. Like, I love all the girls, you know, like, except for my mate Shani, you know that. But I love all the girls, and I want to support them all. So I always had to have a stab. So I always like retweet all the girls. Like when Maya says shit and Alicia says shit, and it's not that I'm on any sides. I want to, because I've got one of the biggest platforms in women's boxing. So I want to use my platform to show everyone, like, look, this is women's boxing. Like, it is exciting. These girls are talking shit, and like, it's good. Like, you know, and that's what you want to do. And we need to keep doing. I want to egg it on. Like, I'll sit there, like, try and prod it. Like, come on, guys. Like, just keep talking that shit. Like, stir it up. Yeah, definitely. You need that. You know, it makes it all exciting. It's all part of it. It's all part of the reason we love boxing. And like I said, being a boxing fan since I was younger, what I've always loved about boxing, besides obviously for me, it was like that brutality and the tactics of boxing, is the characters. I love the characters. You love how they talk, and you love the rivalries, and like James Toney when he was talking shit to, like, you know, the Eubanks and Ben, like all this kind of stuff. Like that's the stuff that like draws you in to want to watch. But us as women, we didn't have those stories. We didn't have those characters because it wasn't shown, because it wasn't being promoted, and didn't have the platform. But now we do. So fucking get out there and like just do it, stir shit and cause shit, and let's get people talking about women's boxing. And that's what I did with Shannon Courtney. That's what I did with my lingerie weigh-ins, like, you know, unpurposely, but it got people talking, you know, and it gets people to tune in. So fucking do it, you know. But yeah, it's great. It's awesome.
Before we go, I need to ask you about this fight because it's happening in Australia. Devin, and with your analytical expertise now, you've got to break this down. So Devin Haney is travelling to Australia to fight George Kambosos for the undisputed crown. I think I read last night his dad, his usual coach, hasn't been allowed to.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
He's
got jab.
I don't think it's for that.
Zab Judas.
Yeah, I think Zab Judas coached it. Noel Judah, I think he's going to come over and help him.
Yeah.
But what do you make of that fight? How does that fight play out? Because that fight is it's an interesting matchup, and I know obviously you're obviously in Australia, so it's maybe hard to sway, but give your honest opinion.
Okay, my honest opinion is I wasn't like generally backing George for the last fight, because I hadn't seen George in a really tough fight, or, you know, because there's always, you know what it's like, it's boxing. You take these fights, they look good on paper, and the ex-world champion, they're good, but you know, it's not really like the test. It's the still step ups. Yeah. So I feel like Teofimo was his first real test.
Yeah,
and we got to see the real George, like at the top elite, like you know, not just someone beating just someone to build or whatever. But I think, and I think he was fucking incredible. I love that fight. I've watched that fight like 3 times. I thought he did so well in that fight. But Teofimo underestimated him. And I think Haney's going to underestimate him as well, big time, because George is so fast hands, and he throws a lot of punches, and he's got really good timing as well and reaction, and he does. And he's been training here. He's been settled. He's got his camp over from Miami. You know, he's bring or Florida. I think it's Florida, Miami. Yeah, Miami. You know, he has the guys over here. He's bring Xander, like, as in his team's here. They haven't been. I know what it's like to fucking fly from America or from the UK to Australia or back and forth. I know what that's like, and it's not fucking easy. And I don't know when Haney flew in, but
I think he's there. I think he got here either yesterday or the day before. Yeah.
Big fucking mistake, because I know when I travel that long, that fucking 30-hour flight or 25-hour fucking commute, it takes me, and with the jet lag, it takes me a good week to get over it. I'll get in the gym, and after my flight, like I say, I fly in on a weekend, I get in the gym Monday, and it feels like the fucking second week of camp. I'm like, what the fuck? Where's my fitness? It takes me a week to feel like I'm fit again, or that I feel good again. Like I remember the first time I went to America, I was like, oh my God, I swear I was fit. before I came. Like I was fit. I was already like 6 weeks into my camp, you know, when I went to America. But then I get to America and it feels like the fucking first day of camp, you know, like it's just crazy. And then there's sleep. It's so hard. Even me coming over this time, I was struggling. I wasn't sleeping at all. The first week of me returning this time, I was sleeping between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. That was my sleep. I was awake all day, all night because of the jet lag. Is horrible. And it's not just like a couple of hours across the pond. It's not like just, you know, it's 5 hours. It's like 17 hours, you know, it's like 18 hours. Like it's not easy. And all the fluid from the flight and just all that, it takes it out of you, man. So I'm fucking ranting going on here, but I'm just pointing out it isn't easy. So the fact that he's come over so close to his fight and not adapted, not acclimatized and not got over that, I think that could definitely play a role. He could feel sluggish, man. He could be slow with reactions. He might not sleep this week, like, or whenever it is. It's in 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the 2 weeks, even that, like, you got 1 week where you're getting over it, and then you're in fight week. Like, he might have just come in. He might just have come in early enough to not be too much of a hindrance. But if it was a week, because I was thinking it was this weekend, but it's 2 weeks, then I think, I think it would be a lot worse. So going off what I was saying, so I think that's going to be a real downfall for Haney. But you know, Haney, he's brilliant distance control, brilliant timing, great counter punching. But I think he needs to let his hands go a little bit more, especially if you're going to match George, because George's output is insane. But let's not be like wrong here. Haney is very, very skilled, and he does have very good timing, and he's very accurate. But I think his underestimation and the travel could be a role. And just being in Australia, I think it's the first time Haney's fought outside of his home. And from knowing, I mean, I'm okay because I'm a bit of I travel around anyways, but it is a bit different, you know, especially he's not going to have the backing like I have when I go to the UK. You know, he's going to come here and it's going to be very different. It's going to be very pro George. So yeah, and I don't know when the fight is. To be honest, I don't know if it's during the day or the night. I know sometimes in Australia they do day fights, so not 100% sure. I'm not coming because I'm going to be coming back to the UK that weekend. So yeah, but yeah, so I think George is gonna get it. He's a fucking hungry man, and he'll do anything to win that fight unless he gets dropped or knocked out. And Haney is not known for his power. So
no.
So yeah,
it's gonna be an interesting one, but I think yeah, I mean, just a great fight, good one to me.
It's fucking great. It's just so good for Australian boxing. It's so good for Australian boxing because we need it here big time. You know, we're starting to build a little bit, but you know, we really need something like this. And you know, George has worked really hard, sacrificed a lot for like six more years, just always fighting overseas, sacrificing, doing those trips that I've been doing, and I've only been doing it for 2 years, and I'm like, I'm fucking done. But he has a family and kids, so it's a bit different. You know what I mean? Like it is hard I'm sure it's hard when you've got a family and kids. You can't just go, okay, bye, you know, see ya. So I'm glad for him, and I'm sure. I'm almost positive there's a rematch clause. So if he loses, I mean, he's going to have a rematch anyways, which you know, he's going to learn from
as well. It's in Australia.
The rematch is in Australia. Yeah, same, and it'll be the same place from what I heard. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, good to, you know, it's either going to be an epic fight, one epic fight for Aussie boxing, or two good fights, you know. So yeah, and if he wins, fuck, you know, maybe Loma, and that's pretty cool as well. And that would be in Australia as well. So yeah, big things.
Yeah, it's class. Look, Ebanie, I really appreciate your time. I think we're nearly running out of the Zoom time by the look of it, but yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Fucking talk. It's been a while. I know usually we're pretty quick, but this in depth. I mean, you get me talking about boxing, and I don't fucking shut up.
I just ask the questions, and you just go.
I know. Fight week's a little bit different because I'm just kind of talking a little bit about me, and I don't really like to talk about me that much. But when I'm talking about other people in boxing, I'll go on. Shut up. All right. Anyways,
it's all good. No, appreciate you coming on. And we'll catch up if you're back in 2 weeks or whatever. We'll have a further catch up then, and obviously see how your camp's going and things like that. So yeah.
Unreal, and hopefully I get a date for a fight announcement soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed, and then we can obviously plug that, and yeah, I'm sure we'll be on that one. So yeah, Ebanie, appreciate it.
Alrighty, thank you.
Catch you again soon.
Bye.